You wake in a room where the morning light stretches itself slowly across the wooden floorboards, slipping softly through the narrow window beside your bed. The air is cool, still holding on to the night's quiet breath, faintly scented with the faintest hint of beeswax lingering from the candles you made yesterday. There is a hush to this early hour, as if the world itself is pausing, reluctant to disturb the delicate balance of shadow and light. You rise slowly, your feet finding the worn wool rug beside the bed, the coarse fibers warm beneath your toes, grounding you in this small room that has held your life for so many years. Outside, the muted chirping of birds flutters gently through the open window. You draw a slow breath, the scent of damp earth and soft wood smoke curling inside with the breeze. It carries with it a promise of quiet moments and steady hands at work. You move to the small table where your tools rest, spools of wick, jars of melted wax, and delicate molds worn smooth by time and use. Each object holds a memory, a whisper of the days and nights spent shaping light from darkness, a ritual both humble and sacred. Your fingers brush the surface of the wooden table, feeling the faint ridges where time has carved its story. The wax jar is still warm, softly shimmering in the golden light. You pause, letting the warmth seep through your skin, grounding you before the day begins. The candle maker's life is one of patience, each step slow, deliberate, a dance of heat and cool, of liquid and solid, of waiting and watching. As you reach for a spool of wick, the texture rough between your fingers, you remember the early days when you first learned this craft, the way the wax melted slowly over a gentle flame, pooling like molten gold, the scent of honey and resin, thick and sweet, filling your small workshop. You recall the careful threading of wicks, the steady hand required to pour the wax just so, coaxing it into form with a softness that belied the heat. The world outside may rush by, but here, time bends and stretches, shaped by light and shadow, by the slow burn of a candle's flame. You begin your work in the quiet, dipping the wick into the warm wax, feeling it coat and harden in your fingers like a gentle promise. Each layer adds to the slender shape, a building of light that will soon chase away the dark corners of a room. The wax cools smoothly, firm yet delicate, the scent of beeswax deepening with each dip of fragrance that is both ancient and alive, whispering of fields of blooming flowers and the hum of busy bees long before you were here. The sunlight has grown softer now, filtering through the thin curtains, casting a golden glow that dances upon the shelves filled with candles of every shape and size. There are pillars, tall and steady, with surfaces etched by time, small votives that glow with a timid light, and spirals that twist like the slow turning of seasons. Each one carries a story, though no one now remembers who shaped them or the hands that made them. They are quiet witnesses to the passing of days and nights, simple keepers of warmth and hope. You pause, letting your eyes rest on the gentle flicker of a candle burning nearby its flame, a steady heartbeat in the quiet. It is this light that you have made, a small, steadfast blaze that holds back the darkness with patient grace. The wax melts slowly, pooling in soft droplets that shimmer like liquid gold before hardening again. A cycle of giving and holding, of warmth and coolness entwined. Outside, the wind stirs the branches of an ancient tree, its leaves whispering secrets only the night could hear. You imagine the many evenings when the light from your candles filled the windows of distant homes. A silent greeting in the dark, a companion for those who sat quietly in the fading day. Your work has been unseen by most, unnoticed even, like the faintest breath of a breeze in a forgotten forest. But still, it lingers, a gentle presence woven into the fabric of small, everyday lives. Your hands move with familiar grace as you shape the latest candle, smoothing the edges with a soft cloth, feeling the coolness of the wax beneath your fingertips. There is a peace in this slow, repetitive motion, a rhythm that carries you beyond the noise of the world. You listen to the soft scrape of the cloth, the faint crackle of the wick as it settles, and the subtle scent of warmth rising from your workbench. The day stretches ahead, quiet and unhurried. You will tend your candles, one by one, each a small beacon of calm, a light to hold the night at bay. In this gentle solitude, the world feels close and distant all at once, a place of stillness and slow, deliberate motion. You are a keeper of light, a maker of warmth, shaping the fragile glow that comforts those who will never know your name. As the afternoon wanes and the shadows lengthen, you sit by the window, watching the soft fading of the sun. The air cools again, and you light one candle, its flame flickering like a whispered secret. You watch the dance of light and shadow, the slow melting of wax that will soon harden once more. It is a quiet life, this life of candle making, one without fanfare or praise, but it holds its own kind of beauty, a gentle, enduring light that no one else remembers, but that you carry in your hands. And in the silence that follows, as the candle burns steady and sure, you find a kind of peace. The world may forget, but here, in this small room, filled with soft light and the scent of wax and time, you are remembered by the very glow you have made. You step into your workshop just as the morning dew begins to fade, the soft warmth of dawn brushing over the wooden beams like a gentle sigh. The scent of beeswax still clings to the air, mingling with the faint sweetness of melted tallow and the earthy hint of flickering wicks long burned. Here, in this quiet sanctuary, time stretches slow and languid, like the slow drip of molten wax pooling beneath a flickering flame. The room is small, but it holds an abundance of things. Glass jars filled with fragments of dried flowers, honeycomb bits tucked carefully into little cloth bags, wooden molds lined up like silent sentinels along the shelves. Each item is a treasure, a fragment of memory folded into your craft. Your fingers graze over the rough-hewn table, feeling the cool, smooth patches where years of work have worn away the grain. You fill the heavy cauldron with fresh wax, the pale golden blocks melting slowly under the tender heat. The scent rises up warm, honeyed, soft as the wax liquefies, rippling like sunlight caught in a gentle stream. You watch, mesmerized by the slow dance of heat and liquid, the way the wax shimmers and swirls before it settles into a glowing pool, ready to be shaped and coaxed into light. Your hand moves deliberately, steady and sure, dipping the wick into the molten wax. The heat presses softly against your skin through the thin cloth of your sleeve, a gentle reminder of the fire's presence. The wax clings, cool and thick, as it hardens on the wick. You repeat the dipping, again and again, watching the candle grow taller with each slow layer, the surface glossy and warm beneath your careful touch. The world outside hums faintly the distant crow of a rooster. The rustle of leaves, stirred by a soft morning breeze, the gentle creak of a cart rolling over the cobblestones. Yet here, inside your little room, the noise fades into a soothing quiet, the steady rhythm of your work like a heartbeat, calm and measured. As the candle takes shape, you lift it carefully, running your fingers along the smooth wax. It's cool now, solid but fragile, like a secret waiting to be told. You sense the history held within the countless hours of stillness, the whispered hopes of those who would one day light this very flame, seeking comfort in its glow. There is a softness to your craft, a gentleness woven through every step. You smooth the surface with a soft cloth, feeling the slight warmth beneath the subtle grain of the wax as it responds to your touch. The scent is richer, here beeswax, mingled with a faint trace of lavender you once pressed into the molds. A memory wrapped in fragrant folds. A sudden draft brushes through the window, stirring the candle's thin wicks, lined up like tiny soldiers on the table. You pause, watching the flame of a single candle flicker. The tiny dance of light and shadow, a quiet ballet in the morning air. It reminds you of the fragility of your work, the delicate balance between flame and wax, between heat and form, between light and darkness. The wax whispers stories, if you listen closely, the crackle of bees in distant fields, the gentle hum of summer afternoons, the slow turning of seasons marked by the rise and fall of the sun. It speaks softly of the hands that made it, the quiet hours spent shaping something so small and yet so full of meaning. There is a magic here, woven not from grandeur, but from patience and care. You think of the evenings when the candles you made would light the faces of strangers, fishermen mending nets by the harbor, children curled beneath heavy blankets, lovers sharing whispered secrets under the moonlight. Though no one now remembers your name, your light once filled their world with warmth and quiet hope, a steady glow in the stillness. The wax cools further, and you set the candle carefully aside to harden fully. Your hands are still warm from the dipping, the lingering heat a soft comfort against the gentle chill of morning. You close your eyes for a moment, breathing in the scent of honey and wax, letting the calmness seep into your bones. Outside, the sun rises higher, casting long shadows that stretch across the floor like lazy fingers. The day unfolds slowly, and you prepare your next batch of candles. The rhythm steady and sure, a dance of fire and wax that will outlast you. Each candle is a small act of quiet defiance against the dark, a whispered promise that light will return, that warmth will remain. In the fading light of afternoon, you light a single candle beside your workbench. Its flame flickers softly, casting gentle shadows that sway and shift like memories long past. You watch the slow melting of wax, the soft pooling at the base, the delicate scent rising like a lullaby for the senses. This quiet work, unseen and unpraised, is your world. It holds no rush, no grand acclaimly, the gentle touch of wax and wick, the steady heartbeat of flame and shadow. And in this solitude you find a deep and lasting peace, a sense of purpose woven through the soft glow of every candle you have made. Though no one remembers your name, the light you have shaped lingers still, a quiet testament to a life lived in patience, care, and gentle hope. The morning arrives with a gentle hush, as if the world itself is breathing quietly, still wrapped in the tender folds of sleep. You step into your workshop, where the faint scent of melting wax greets you like an old friend, soft and familiar. The air is cool, but carries the faint warmth of the day just begun, mingling with a subtle sweetness, like honey and flowers pressed into time. Your hands move instinctively to the table, where the blocks of wax wait, smooth and pale, cool beneath your fingertips. You run your palm over their surfaces, feeling the faint ridges left by the shaping tools, the slight grain that tells stories of patience and care. Each block is a promise of future candle waiting to be born, to catch and hold light in its gentle form. You begin by breaking a piece of wax into smaller chunks, their edges clean and delicate. The shards feel heavy in your hand, solid and yet soft with possibility. As you place them into the melting pot, you watch the way the heat pulls them slowly into liquid, the wax softening, rippling with light like a pool of molten gold. The scent grows richer, a warm and soothing balm that fills the room and settles deep within your chest. Your fingers work deftly, preparing the wick, twisting it lightly between your fingertips until it feels just right, neither too tight nor too loose. There is a softness here, a subtle grace in every movement, a quiet reverence for the materials that will soon become light. You dip the wick into the molten wax, feeling the gentle heat press through the thin cloth of your sleeve. The wax clings like a whispered promise, cool and smooth as it hardens, wrapping the wick in its soft embrace. You repeat this ritual again and again, the slow layering building a slender candle that grows taller with each careful dip. The rhythm of your work is steady and unhurried, a gentle pulse that echoes the beating of your own heart. You notice the slight stickiness on your fingertips, the faint residue of wax that lingers long after you have set the candle aside to cool. There is something sacred in this repetition, a meditation woven through the act of creation. The soft touch of wax beneath your hands connects you to a world both ancient and alive, a world where light is shaped by patience and quiet hands, where the smallest flame holds the power to transform darkness into warmth. The workshop around you is filled with textures, the rough grain of the wooden table, the smooth surfaces of glass jars filled with dried flowers and herbs, the coarse fabric of your apron worn thin from years of use. The scent of beeswax mingles with faint traces of lavender and rosemary pressed long ago into the wax, a fragrance that lingers like a memory. Outside, the air is still cool, carrying the distant murmur of the village, waking slowly to the day. You can hear the soft clip-clop of horseshoes on cobblestones, the gentle creak of shutters being opened to let in morning light. Yet here, in your quiet corner, the world feels slowed down, touched by the hush of creation and the soft glow of wax and wick. You hold the newly formed candle in your hands, feeling its weight and shape. The surface is smooth and slightly warm, the scent faint but comforting. You imagine the flame it will hold, the quiet flicker that will chase shadows from a room, the gentle warmth it will offer to a tired traveler or a weary heart. Your gaze lingers on the candle as the light outside shifts, casting soft patterns across the walls of your workshop. There is a stillness here, a gentle peace born from the slow dance of fire and wax, from the delicate balance between heat and form. In this moment, you are both creator and witness, shaping light that will outlast you. You set the candle carefully on the shelf among others, each one unique in its shape and scent, a silent testament to the quiet life you lead. Though no one remembers the hands that made these candles, each one carries a piece of your soul, a soft, glowing fragment of time and care. The day will pass in gentle rhythms, melting wax dipping wicks, smoothing surfaces, and watching flames flicker to life. And when night falls again, you will sit beside a candle's glow, letting its warm light wrap around you like a quiet embrace, a reminder that even the smallest light can hold back the dark. In this quiet, steady work, you find a kind of grace and unspoken beauty in the soft touch of wax, the slow layering of light, and the tender weaving of shadow and flame. This is your world, shaped by patience and care, remembered only in the gentle flicker of candles no one else will ever know. The afternoon settles around you like a soft, heavy blanket, drawing the warmth of the sun through the open window and pooling it gently on your shoulders. The scent of melting wax still hangs in the air, a subtle, honeyed sweetness mingled with the faint, dry aroma of wooden shelves and the faintest trace of lavender from the sachets tucked away in a corner. You breathe it in slowly, letting it anchor you in this quiet moment, suspended between work and rest. Your hands, steady and sure, move over the smooth surface of a freshly poured candle. The wax feels cool now, firm but pliant, as though holding a secret beneath its glossy skin. You run your fingers along the sides, noting the gentle curves and the tiny imperfections that mark each piece as unique a testament to the slow, patient hands that shaped it. Outside, the distant murmur of village life drifts softly through the window. A child's laughter mingles with the rhythmic tapping of a woodcarver's tools and the faint creak of wagon wheels on cobblestones. Yet, within your small workshop, the world feels muted, as if wrapped in layers of wool and silence. The steady rhythm of your breath, the gentle scrape of wax against wick, the soft rustle of cloth all weave together into a lullaby of quiet purpose. You pause, letting your mind drift with the ebb and flow of your work. Each candle is more than just wax, and wick it is a vessel for hope, a fragile beacon meant to push back the dark and offer warmth to those who need it. You imagine the faces of strangers, long gone now, who once held your light in their hands, their tired eyes reflecting the flicker, their weary hands steadying the flame against the chill. The room feels heavy with memories, though no one now remembers your name or the slow hours you spent shaping each glow. Still, the silence carries a weight not of loneliness, but of quiet significance. This is a life lived in shadows and soft light, where the smallest act of creation holds immense meaning, even if unseen by others. Your fingers return to the wax, smoothing the surface gently, feeling the coolness yield beneath your touch. The texture is almost like skin, soft, slightly yielding, alive in its subtle imperfections. You think of the bees whose labor created this gift, the flowers whose nectar became golden blocks in your melting pot. All these quiet miracles intertwined in a candle's fragile form. The day drifts slowly onward, and you begin another candle, the dip of the wick into warm wax, a familiar and comforting gesture. You feel the gentle tug of heat through your sleeve, the gradual layering building a slender shape that will soon hold its own light. The process is slow, each moment filled with reverence and care, a dance between hand and flame, wax and wick. A breeze stirs the curtains, bringing with it the fresh scent of pine and earth. The soft rustle is a reminder of the world beyond these walls, a world moving faster than your quiet rhythm, full of noise and hurry. But here, time bends differently. It stretches and softens, cradled in the warmth of wax and flame, in the steady pulse of creation. You lean back for a moment, your hands resting in your lap, and listen to the gentle sounds of the workshop, the faint crackle of a dying wick, the soft scrape of cloth, the distant hum of evening settling in. The fading light outside paints the walls with long shadows, and you watch as the candlelight flickers, casting gentle patterns that move like slow waves. Though no one remembers you or the careful hands that made these candles, you know your work holds a kind of quiet immortality. Each flame you have nurtured is a whisper in the dark, a soft embrace for the night, and in that you find a deep and lasting peace. You rise slowly as dusk gathers, extinguishing the candle with a soft breath. The smoke curls upward in delicate spirals, carrying with it the warmth of the day and the gentle promise of light to come. You look out the window, where stars begin to twinkle faintly, tiny points of steady fire in the vast velvet sky. The world will forget your name, but it will never forget the light you shaped. In the quiet weight of wax and flame, you have left a mark, a gentle glow that lingers in the hearts of those who once needed it most. And as night deepens, you return to your workbench, your hands ready to weave light once more. Night settles softly over the village, wrapping the world in a velvet cloak threaded with quiet stars. You sit by the small hearth in your workshop, the flicker of a single candle casting gentle shadows that sway and shimmer like whispers across the walls. The air is cool but carries the warm breath of the flame, a soft glow that reaches into the corners of the room and lingers there, a small and steady heartbeat in the quiet. You watch the flame, tracing its subtle dance, the way it bends and stretches with each breath of air, how it leans toward the warmth it seeks, yet never burns too fiercely. It is a fragile light, yet full of life, flickering with a gentle pulse that feels both delicate and enduring. You imagine this flame as a living thing, breathing alongside you, sharing this silent evening. The scent of melting beeswax rises softly, sweet and earthy, weaving through the air with the faint hint of lavender pressed into the wax long ago. It is a smell that comforts, like a soft embrace from a memory you barely remember but can feel deep in your bones. You breathe it in slowly, letting it settle into the quiet spaces inside you. Your hands rest lightly on the wooden table, the grain worn smooth by years of use. You think of all the candles you have made, each one a silent guardian of light in the darkness, a small beacon in the homes of strangers whose names you will never know. Though forgotten, these flames have touched countless lives, carrying warmth and solace through long nights. Outside, the world is still, the distant call of an owl, the soft rustle of leaves in the night breeze, and the muted footsteps of a lone traveler passing by all fade into the deep calm of evening. Within your workshop, the flame's flicker is a quiet rhythm, steady and soothing, as if time itself slows to match its gentle beat. You reach out, lifting the candle slightly, feeling the smooth warmth of the wax beneath your fingers. The surface is cool where it is not touched by flame, firm but yielding, a fragile balance between solid and liquid, light and shadow. You trace a finger along its side, marveling at how something so simple can hold such profound comfort. The flame dances again, casting long, wavering shadows that move like soft waves over the walls. You imagine the stories these shadows might tell, quiet nights spent reading by candlelight, whispered conversations held in the hush of darkness, and solitary moments where the world seems to hold its breath. You think of the slow, deliberate hours spent crafting each candle, the dipping of wick into molten wax, the careful smoothing of surfaces, the gentle layering of scent and color. Each step is a tender ritual, a dance of patience and care that shapes light from the formless. It is a humble craft, unnoticed by most, but in its quiet way, it holds the power to transform. The flame flickers once more, leaning toward the faintest draft from the open window. You feel the cool night air brush your skin, a soft contrast to the candle's warmth. The mingling of heat and cold, light and dark, creates a delicate balance, one you have learned to cherish over the years. As the candle burns steadily, you close your eyes for a moment, letting the gentle glow wash over you. The world outside slips away, replaced by the tender dance of flame and shadow, the slow rhythm of light shaping the night. In this stillness, you find a quiet peace, a deep connection to the simple beauty of your work. Though no one remembers your name or the hands that shaped these candles, the light you have made endures. It flickers softly in the darkness, a silent witness to the passing of time, a small flame carrying warmth and hope into the night. And as you sit there, bathed in that gentle glow, you know that in this quiet life, in this slow, steady dance of flame and shadow, you have found your place, a keeper of light in a world that often forgets the small miracles held in a candle's soft embrace. The morning air carries a gentle chill, but inside your workshop, warmth lingers from the night's lingering embers and the soft glow of candles recently made. The scent of beeswax is thick and sweet, woven with the faintest trace of lavender and dried herbs pressed into the wax, like a secret whispered between the flowers and the flame. You breathe in deeply, letting the rich, honeyed fragrance fill your lungs and settle in your chest like a familiar lullaby. Your hands move with quiet certainty, gathering the tools of your craft, the wooden molds worn smooth by years of use, the spools of wick carefully coiled and ready. The surfaces beneath your fingers feel textured and alive, each one holding a memory of slow hours and steady work. The roughness of the wooden table contrasts with the softness of the cloth you use to smooth the wax, a gentle friction that calms your senses. You begin by heating the wax, watching as the solid blocks melt into liquid gold, shimmering and rippling beneath the flame. The scent rises, stronger now, filling the small room with its warm embrace. It reminds you of summer fields buzzing with bees, the hum of their wings, a distant, soothing song carried on the breeze. You imagine the long journey of this wax from flower to hive, from honeycomb to your hand's itch, step a quiet miracle etched into its very essence. The process is slow and deliberate. You dip the wick into the molten wax, feeling the gentle heat press through your sleeve, the wax clinging softly as it cools and hardens around the thread. Layer by layer, the candle grows, a slender tower of light waiting to be born. The scent deepens with each dip, a complex blend of warmth, sweetness, and earthiness that seems to hold the very soul of the natural world. Outside, the soft rustle of leaves in the morning breeze mixes with the faint calls of waking birds. The world is stirring gently, but here, in your workshop, time feels suspended, held in the delicate balance between heat and cool, light and shadow. You feel the pulse of the day slowing to match your breath, the quiet heartbeat of creation steady and sure. You pause to run your fingers over a finished candle, feeling the smooth surface, cool now, but still holding the faintest warmth. The scent clings, subtle and inviting, like a memory you can almost touch. It is a fragrance that carries stories, the buzzing bees, the blooming flowers, the soft hum of nature's slow, steady rhythm. The beeswax's scent wraps around you like a soft shawl, comforting and alive. It reminds you that even in the quietest moments, the world is full of life, waiting patiently to be noticed and cherished. Your hands return to the work, dipping wick and molding wax, each movement a gentle offering to the light you shape. As the day deepens, the room fills with the gentle glow of candles waiting to be lit, their surfaces cool and smooth, their scents mingling in the warm air. You sit back for a moment, closing your eyes to savor the quiet symphony of wax and wick. Light and scent, a secret language spoken in the soft touch of beeswax, carried on the gentle breath of flame. Though no one remembers your name or the quiet hands that made these candles, the scent of beeswax lingers still, a silent witness to the slow, tender art of shaping light from shadow. And in that lingering fragrance, you find a kind of home soft, warm, and eternal. The morning light filters softly through the small window of your workshop, casting long, gentle beams that stretch across the worn wooden floorboards and settle quietly on your workbench. The air is cool but sweet with the lingering scent of beeswax and honey, mingling with the faint, earthy aroma of herbs pressed long ago into the wax. You take a deep breath, the stillness settling over you like a gentle tide, and begin the familiar ritual that shapes the quiet rhythm of your day. Your hands reach for the spool of wick resting patiently on the table, its slender thread waiting to be brought to life. The texture is rough between your fingers, coarse but comforting, like the spine of a well-loved book. You coil a length carefully, mindful of its delicate balance between strength and fragility. This wick is the heart of your craft, the slender pulse that will draw flame and breath into the waxy vessel you create. You light the small burner beneath the cauldron, the flame flickering to life with a soft, steady glow. The blocks of beeswax begin to melt, their edges softening and blurring as they turn from solid to liquid, shimmering gold in the dim light. You watch the surface ripple gently, like sunlight playing on a quiet stream, the scent rising warm and sweet, an echo of distant fields where bees hum and flowers bloom. The first dip is slow and deliberate. You lower the wick into the molten wax, feeling the soft pressure of heat through your sleeve. The wax clings, cool and thick at first, then slowly hardening into a smooth, glossy layer around the wick. You lift it carefully, the candle slender now, but not yet whole, still waiting for more layers to build its strength and light. Each dip follows the last with a steady rhythm, a slow, quiet dance of patience and care. You dip, lift, and set aside to cool. Then dip again, layering the wax until the candle grows tall and firm, its surface glossy and warm beneath your touch. The scent deepens with every layer, a rich blend of honeyed sweetness and the faintest trace of herbs and flowers, subtle reminders of nature's gentle gifts. Time seems to stretch here, folded into the steady pulse of dipping wick into wax. The world outside your walls moves in its hurried way, but here the moments slow and settle, wrapped in the softness of craft and care. You feel your breath sinking with the rise and fall of heat and cool, the slow building of form and light. Your fingers brush the smooth surface of the candle as it cools between dips. The wax is firm but delicate, cool to the touch, except where the heat still lingers faintly beneath. You smooth the edges gently with a soft cloth, your hands moving with the familiarity of years spent in this quiet devotion. Each candle carries with it a part of your small, glowing promise to the dark. Around you, the workshop is alive with textures and scents, the rough wood of the table, the soft cloths folded neatly to one side, the glass jars filled with dried flowers and herbs whose faint aromas mingle in the warm air. The light from a few burning candles flickers softly, casting gentle shadows that dance like slow waves on the walls. You pause to breathe deeply, savoring the sweet warmth that rises from the molten wax and the soft touch of the cool candle in your hands. There is a stillness here that feels sacred, a quiet sanctuary where time holds no urgency, only the gentle unfolding of moments shaped by steady hands and patient heart. Outside, the faint murmur of village life drifts through the open window, a dog barking softly in the distance, the distant clatter of carts on cobblestones, and the muted voices of neighbors greeting the day. But these sounds feel far away, as if wrapped in layers of wool and shadow, unable to pierce the calm cocoon of your workshop. As you continue the rhythm of dipping layer upon layer, you find yourself drifting with the gentle current of your work. The motion is soothing, a tactile meditation where mind and body merge in the slow crafting of light. Each candle you make is a small beacon of warmth and hope, a fragile guardian against the dark that holds the power to comfort and soothe. The wax cools and hardens with each dip, the surface growing smoother, the shape more defined. You notice the tiny imperfections, the faint ridges left by dipping, the delicate bubbles trapped beneath the glossy surface, each one a quiet signature of the process, a testament to the hands that made it. There is beauty here, in the imperfect and the humble, in the slow unfolding of creation. You think of the candles that will someday burn in distant homes, lighting the faces of strangers, offering warmth to the lonely, and filling silent rooms with soft, flickering hope. Though your name will be forgotten, your light will live on, quietly touching lives in ways you can never see but always feel. The day moves on in gentle waves, and the rhythm of dipping continues, steady and sure. Your hands grow warm from the wax, your breath deepens in time with the slow dance of heat and cool. The workshop hums softly with the scent of beeswax and lavender, the glow of candles flickering like distant stars. As the sun begins to dip low, casting a golden haze through the window, you set the last candle aside to cool fully. You wipe your hands on your apron, the cloth rough against your skin, but comforting all the same. For a moment, you sit back and let the quiet wash over you, feeling the steady pulse of your work echoing deep inside. This quiet rhythm, the dipping of wick into wax, the slow building of light, is your world. It is a life shaped by patience and care, by soft touches and steady hands. Though no one remembers you, or the hours you have spent in this small, dusty room, your light remains a gentle flame, glowing in the dark. And as night falls and the candles you have made begin to burn in homes you will never know, you rest in the knowledge that your quiet craft holds a kind of immortality, a soft, enduring glow that carries hope and warmth through the longest nights. The early morning air is cool, delicate with the crispness that follows a night wrapped in quiet dreams, folding itself around the simple rituals that mark your hours. Your gaze falls to the candles, resting on the shelves, rows upon rows of slender pillars and squat votives, each one holding the memory of a flicker yet to come. Their surfaces glow faintly in the morning light, smooth and pale, some etched with the delicate impressions of flowers pressed long ago, others bearing the soft ridges left by your steady hands. They are silent keepers of light, waiting patiently for the moment when flame will awaken them. You move to your workbench and run your fingers over the cool wax, feeling the subtle textures beneath your touch, the slight imperfection where the wax pooled unevenly, the faint shimmer left by your cloth as you smoothed its surface. Each candle is a quiet story, crafted with care and shaped by hands that know the weight of stillness. The air carries the soft scent of beeswax, sweet and honeyed, mingling with the faint trace of lavender and rosemary, pressed into some of the wax for a touch of gentle fragrance. You breathe it in slowly, letting the scent wrap around you like a familiar shawl, grounding you in the here and now. You light a candle, the flame springing to life with a soft, golden flicker. It dances lightly in the gentle morning breeze that slips through the open window, casting wavering shadows across the wooden walls. The scent of melting wax deepens, warm and inviting, filling the room with a calm embrace. You watch the flame, its steady pulse like a quiet heartbeat in the stillness. The light stretches and contracts, weaving patterns on the rough beams and shelves lined with your work. It is a small, fragile glow, yet full of life and warmth, an enduring flame in a world that often rushes past without notice. The moment feels suspended, held in the delicate balance between light and shadow, heat and coolness. Outside, the village slowly wakes, the distant sound of footsteps on cobblestones, the soft murmur of voices greeting the day. The occasional clatter of a wooden cartall blend into a gentle symphony that fades in and out like the breath of a dream. But here, inside your quiet workshop, the world feels removed, as if wrapped in a cocoon of warmth and light. You trace the flame with your eyes, feeling the soothing rhythm of its dance. The wick crackles softly, a delicate song that blends with the faint rustle of leaves and the whisper of the morning breeze. It reminds you of the fragile beauty held within every candle, the careful balance of wax and wick, flame and air, light and dark. You reach out, fingers brushing the smooth surface of the candle, feeling the warmth where the flame touches the wax. A slow cycle of giving and holding. This moment, the stillness between flames, feels like a quiet prayer reminder that even in the smallest light there is hope, warmth, and comfort, casting its soft glow into the darkness of the world beyond. You think of the many nights your candles have lit, the whispered conversations held by flickering firelight. The flame flickers gently, casting shadows that move like slow waves across the walls, where time unfolds softly and every moment holds its own kind of grace. You breathe in the scent of melting wax once more, letting it fill you with calm and quiet strength. As the candle burns steadily, you close your eyes for a moment, letting the stillness wash over you like a soft tide. In this calm, you find a refuge, a place where the noise of the world fades away, leaving only the quiet glow of light held in fragile form. When the flame finally wanes, you watch as the last drops of wax pool and harden. The scent lingering like a whispered memory, you know that soon another candle will be lit, and the quiet rhythm of flame and shadow will begin anew. And in this unbroken cycle, you find a kind of immortality, enduring light that no one remembers making, but that continues to hold the dark at bay, softly, gently, always. The evening seeps softly into your workshop, wrapping the space in a tender twilight that blurs the edges of the day. The fading light casts long, gentle shadows across the wooden floor, their shapes shifting slowly as the sun dips beyond the distant hills. You stand quietly, breathing in the familiar scent of beeswax and softened herbs, a fragrance as constant as the rhythm of your heart. Your fingers brush over the surface of a recently dipped candle, cool and smooth beneath your touch. You feel the subtle imperfections, tiny ridges, faint fingerprints left by your own careful hands. You recognize the quiet story they tell. Each candle carries with it the weight of time, the slow, deliberate dance of flame and wax that you have shaped with patience and care. The workshop is still except for the soft crackle of a burning candle near the hearth. Its flame flickers gently, sending ripples of light that play across the walls like waves on a dark sea. You watch the shadows stretch and recede, their forms both mysterious and comforting in the hush of evening. Outside, the village rests under a sky heavy with stars. The distant sounds of night and owl's call, the rustle of leaves, the faint murmur of a passing traveler oft and far away. Inside, the world feels folded into itself, a quiet sanctuary where time moves slowly, measured by the gentle pulse of flickering light. You reach for a candle and light its wick, the flame leaping to life with a soft sigh. The scent of melting wax fills the room sweet and warm, tinged with the faintest hint of lavender and rosemary pressed into the wax long ago. The flame dances and bends, a delicate pulse that holds back the growing darkness with its fragile glow. Your eyes trace the shadows cast by the flame, noticing how they stretch tall and thin, then curl softly against the rough wood. There is a rhythm here, a balance between light and dark, heat and cool, presence and absence. The shadows seem to carry their own weight, a quiet reminder of all that remains unseen but felt. You think of the countless nights these candles have held vigil, the whispered prayers offered in their light, the silent tears wiped away by flickering shadows, the gentle touch of warmth in lonely rooms. Though your name is lost to time, the shadows your candles have cast have been part of countless stories, woven into the fabric of many lives. The scent of beeswax deepens, wrapping around you like a soft shawl. You inhale slowly, letting the warmth fill the spaces inside you, a quiet comfort against the chill of night. Your hands rest lightly on the wooden table, feeling the grain worn smooth by years of steady work. The textures around uref wood, cool wax, soft cloth ground you in this moment, a stillness that feels both fragile and profound. As the flame flickers, you notice the subtle changes in the shadows, the way they stretch longer, then shrink back with the slightest draft. You imagine the hands that have reached toward this light, the faces warmed by its glow, the stories held in the quiet spaces between flame and shadow. You close your eyes briefly, letting the calm wash over you like a gentle tide. The weight of shadows feels less like darkness and more like a soft embrace, a reminder that light and shadow exist together, each giving meaning to the other. Your work is part of this balance, shaping light that carries its own shadows, holding both in delicate harmony. The candle burns steadily, its flame a small, steady heartbeat in the quiet room. You watch as the wax melts slowly, pooling like liquid gold before hardening once more, a slow cycle of giving and holding. The scent lingers, sweet and earthy, a silent testament to the hours spent shaping this fragile light. You rise slowly, extinguishing the flame with a soft breath. The smoke curls upward in delicate spirals, carrying away the warmth and leaving behind the cool calm of night. You pause a moment longer, feeling the lingering glow in your chest, a quiet warmth born from the slow dance of flame and shadow. Though no one remembers your name or the gentle hands that shaped these candles, the weight of shadows they have cast remains a soft, enduring presence in the quiet places of the world. And in that weight, you find a kind of solace, a light that never truly fades, held gently between darkness and dawn. The morning light arrives slowly, diffused and gentle, filtering through the small panes of glass that have long been touched by dust and time. Your workshop is quiet, wrapped in the soft glow of dawn, the air still cool but carrying a promise of warmth to come. The scent of beeswax lingers, faint and sweet, mingling with the crisp freshness of early morning and the delicate hint of dried lavender tucked away on a nearby shelf. Your hands rest lightly on the edge of the wooden table, feeling the familiar grain beneath your fingertips, the smoothness worn by years of steady work, the tiny dents and grooves left by tools and time. There is a quiet comfort in these textures, a tactile reminder of the slow rhythm that guides your days. You pick up a block of wax, cool and solid in your hands. It is heavy, dense with promise, yet smooth to the touch like cold marble. You bring it close, inhaling the subtle scent of honey and flowers pressed into the wax. The fragrance feels alive, as if carrying the hum of bees and the whisper of summer fields long gone. Your fingers find the edge of a small carving tool, its wooden handle worn, soft by use. You begin to shave the wax gently, curls falling away like thin petals onto the table. The texture of the wax changes beneath your touch, cool, firm, and yet yielding to your careful pressure. The shavings are light, almost weightless, curling delicately in the air before settling into a small pile. Each movement is slow and deliberate, a dance between hand and material, a dialogue spoken in quiet gestures. You feel the warmth begin to grow beneath your fingertips, not from the wax itself, but from the familiarity of this work, the comfort of shaping something tangible and real. You press the shavings into a small mold, feeling the softness of the wax yield and settle beneath your hands. The cool surface is smooth but malleable, a canvas for your careful shaping. You smooth the edges with a cloth, the fabric soft and slightly rough against your skin, soothing in its gentle friction. The scent of the wax deepens as you work, growing warmer and richer, carrying the faintest notes of herbs and wildflowers pressed into the blocks long ago. It is a fragrance that wraps around you like a shawl, comforting and alive, a bridge between the natural world and the quiet space of your workshop. Outside, the morning world begins to stir. The distant call of birds mingles with the soft rustle of leaves, and the faint sound of footsteps on cobblestones drifts in through the open window. The cool breeze brushes against your cheek, carrying with it the scent of earth and pine, a fresh promise of new beginnings. You pause for a moment, holding the small candle you have shaped. Its surface is smooth and cool, yet beneath lies the warmth of creation, the slow, steady unfolding of light from wax and wick, the tender layering of hope and care. You feel the weight of it in your hand, solid and real, a small beacon waiting to be lit. Your fingers trace the candle's curves, feeling the gentle imperfections that tell its story, the slight ridges from dipping, the tiny bubbles caught beneath the surface, the soft edges smoothed by cloth. Each mark is a reminder of the care woven into its making, a silent testament to the quiet hours spent shaping light from shadow. You set the candle aside gently, letting your hands rest on the table for a moment longer. The warmth beneath your fingertips lingers, a quiet glow, born not from flame, but from the slow, steady touch of creation. It is a warmth that fills the room, wrapping around you like a gentle embrace, soft and enduring. As the day unfolds beyond your walls, you return to your workbench with renewed calm, your hands moving with practiced ease. The slow rhythm of dipping wick into molten wax begins anew, the gentle heat pressing through your sleeve, the soft layering of light growing with each careful dip. The workshop fills with the scent of melting beeswax, rich and sweet, mingling with the faint fragrance of dried herbs and flowers. The air is warm and alive, carrying the quiet pulse of creation that flows through your fingers and into the shapes you bring to life. You work steadily, your breath syncing with the rhythm of dipping and lifting, shaping and smoothing. The world outside moves fast and loud, but here time bends and softens, held in the gentle glow of wax and flame. Each candle you craft is a small miracle and offering of light to the dark, a fragile promise held in the soft warmth beneath your fingertips. Though no one remembers your name or the hands that shaped these candles, their light endures, a quiet flame burning softly in the hearts of those who once held it. And in the warmth beneath your fingertips, you find a kind of peace, a slow, steady flame that carries you gently through the day and into the quiet nights yet to come. The late afternoon sun filters through the small window, casting a soft, golden light across your workshop. Dust particles float lazily in the air, shimmering like tiny stars caught in the stillness. The scent of beeswax, faint and sweet. You stand at your workbench, the familiar weight of the tools beneath your hands grounding you in this sacred space of creation. Your fingers reach for the spool of wick, the slender thread coiled neatly and waiting patiently. It feels rough between your fingers, fibrous and strong despite its delicate appearance, quiet backbone for the flames you will coax to life. You unwind a length carefully, feeling the subtle resistance as the fibers twist together, a fragile bridge between fire and wax. The motion is slow, deliberate, and you find yourself drawn into the gentle rhythm of preparing the wick, a secret waiting to be revealed. You run your fingers along its length, noting the tiny imperfections and uneven twists that make each wick unique, just as every candle will be. You trim the wick to length, your blade sliding smoothly through the fibers, releasing a faint scent of plant and earth. The cut wick rests lightly in your palm, a delicate thread with the power to awaken flame. You imagine the tiny spark that will ignite. It's a sudden burst of warmth and light breaking through shadow, fragile yet fierce. Here, time bends and stretches, wrapped in the slow pulse of your hands and the gentle whisper of wick. You lay the wick carefully into the mold, its slender shape nestled among the smooth curves of cooled wax. The touch is gentle, reverent even, as though you are placing a fragile life into a cradle. The wick rests there, waiting for the next layer of molten wax to seal it in. The slow build of form and function unfolding with tender care, drawing breath and feeding light, holding its fragile glow against the gathering dusk. The scent of melting wax deepens in the air, rich and honeyed. You feel a quiet connection to this flicker, as though it carries the echo of all the flames you have nurtured over the years. The wick, so slender and unassuming, holds within it the power to transform, bridging the tangible wax with the intangible glow. Your hands return to the workbench, coiling wick and trimming lengths, each movement measured and sure. You feel the steady pulse of creation in your fingers, the slow unfolding of light shaped by patient hands. Outside, the sun dips lower, casting a warm amber glow that seeps through the window and pools on the floor, each thread ready to be born into flame. You pause to hold a finished candle, its wick trimmed and centered, poised to ignite. The wax is cool beneath your fingers, smooth and firm, yet holding the promise of warmth just beneath the surface. You imagine the flame that will soon dance atop this slender pillar, casting shadows and comfort into the dark. The promise of gentle fire that reaches into the night, holding back the dark with its soft glow. You place the candle gently on the shelf, joining the many others waiting patiently for their turn to burn. You know that in every slender wick lies a spark of eternity, a quiet flame that no one remembers lighting, but that will never truly fade. Night arrives softly, folding the village into a quiet embrace beneath a sky scattered with distant stars. The moon hangs low, a pale guardian casting silver light through your workshop window, where the wooden shutters remain open just enough to invite a cool, whispering breeze. The air inside is thick with the familiar warmth of beeswax and faint traces of lavender and rosemary, scents mingling like a soft hymn rising from the stillness. You sit by your workbench, hands resting lightly on the worn wood, your eyes drawn to the small circle of candlelight flickering steadily before you. The flame pulses gently, a slow and steady rhythm that seems to beat in time with your own heart. The shadows cast on the walls dance softly, their movements like slow waves of memory, rising and falling in a quiet tide. The room feels suspended between worlds, the tangible and the ephemeral, the past and the present. Here, in this quiet sanctuary, time stretches and folds like the gentle swell of the sea, each moment carrying the weight of all those nights spent shaping light from wax and wick. You breathe deeply, the scent of melting wax filling your lungs with warmth and comfort. It is a fragrance woven with the sweetness of honey and the soft earthiness of wild herbs. A scent that speaks of patience and care, of slow rituals and quiet devotion. The smell wraps around you like a shawl, soft and enveloping, a balm for the soul. Your fingers trace the curve of a candle, cool to the touch, yet alive with the promise of flame. You feel the subtle ridges left by dipping, the tiny imperfections that make each candle unique, a testament to the hands that crafted it and the hours spent in tender attention. Outside, the village sleeps under the watchful gaze of the stars, its streets silent except for the occasional murmur of night winds stirring the trees. The world beyond these walls is hushed and still, but within, the gentle pulse of flame and shadow creates a rhythm all its own. You think of the countless nights your candles have brightened the faces, warmed by their glow, the stories whispered in their light, the solitary moments of reflection held close beneath their soft embrace. Though your name is forgotten, your light endures, a quiet beacon in the vast darkness. The flame flickers slightly, as if responding to an unseen breath, casting long, wavering shadows that move like slow dancers across the walls. You watch the dance with a quiet reverence, feeling the ebb and flow of light and dark. warmth and coolness, presence and absence. In this stillness, you find a deep sense of belonging, connection to the small miracles held within each candle, the fragile flame that carries hope into the night. The gentle pulse of the flame mirrors the slow beating of your heart, a silent conversation between maker and light. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the calm wash over you like a soft tide. The warmth of the candle seeps into your skin, a steady glow that reaches deep within, filling the quiet spaces with gentle comfort. The scent lingers, a quiet reminder of the life held in wax and wick, the slow unfolding of light from shadow. As the night deepens, you sit in the glow of your creation, feeling the steady pulse of flame and breath. The world outside may forget your name, but in this small room, in the gentle dance of light and shadow, your work lives on soft, enduring, eternal. When the flame finally fades, you watch the slow melting of wax, the gentle pooling and hardening, the faint scent lingering like a whispered memory. You blow softly, sending the smoke curling upward in delicate spirals before it disappears into the still air. The night returns to its deep silence, cool and vast, but inside, the gentle pulse remains, quiet heartbeat held in wax and flame, in the hands that shaped them and the hearts they touched. Though no one remembers your name, your light continues a steady, gentle pulse, beating softly in the quiet night, a small flame that never truly dies. The world outside has slipped entirely into night, a deep velvet curtain studded with stars. Inside your workshop, the air is warm and thick with the scent of beeswax, softened by hints of lavender and a faint trace of smoke from a recently extinguished candle. The wooden walls seem to breathe with quiet memories, holding the echoes of countless nights spent shaping light from shadow. You sit at your worn workbench, fingers tracing the smooth curves of a candle that has burned low, its wick curled and blackened, but still holding the last tender glow of flame. The soft amber light flickers faintly in your mind's eye, a fragile spark against the encroaching darkness. It feels like a whisperer, quiet reminder of all the small flames you have tended, each one a silent companion in the long, quiet hours. The scent of melted wax still clings to your hands, warm and sweet, carrying the memory of honey and wildflowers. You breathe it in slowly, letting it fill the spaces inside you like a gentle song. The fragrance is a quiet testament to your work, slow, steady offering of light to the dark, shaped with patient hands and a quiet heart. You look around the workshop, taking in the rows of candles resting on shelves, their surfaces smooth and cool, waiting to be lit. Each one holds its own story, its own promise of warmth and comfort, shaped by the slow rhythm of dipping and drying, layering wax and wick until form becomes light. Though the world outside forgets you, here in this small, dusty room, your light endures. It lives in the flicker of every flame that dances softly in the night, in the shadows that stretch and curl with whispered grace. The hands that made these candles may be lost to time, but the warmth they brought remains a gentle glow carried forward through the silent hours. You reach for a fresh candle, its wax cool beneath your fingers, smooth and firm. You light its wick, the flame springing to life with a soft, golden flicker. It leans and sways, casting long, trembling shadows that ripple across the wooden walls. The scent of melting beeswax rises, rich and honeyed, filling the room with a quiet warmth. The flame pulses gently, steady and sure, like a heartbeat echoing through the stillness. You watch its slow dance, feeling the calm wash over you, a soothing balm against the loneliness of forgotten years. This small, fragile light is a keeper of stories, a guardian of memories whispered softly in the dark. You think of the countless nights your candles have brightened the faces warmed by their glow, the silent prayers offered in their light, the moments of peace held close beneath their soft embrace. Though no one remembers your name or the quiet hands that shaped these flames, their light lives on, a silent witness to the beauty found in simple, humble acts. The room seems to hum softly with the pulse of flame and shadow, the slow rhythm of wax melting and hardening, the gentle scent wrapping around you like a lover's embrace. You close your eyes briefly, savoring the stillness, the deep calm that settles in your chest like a warm ember. In this quiet moment, you feel a connection that stretches beyond time, the unbroken thread woven from wax and wick, fire and breath, light and memory. Your work is a quiet legacy, a soft glow passed from hand to hand, heart to heart, a fragile flame that no darkness can fully consume. The candle burns low, its flame flickering faintly before winking out with a soft sigh. You watch the last tendrils of smoke curl upward, spiraling like whispered prayers into the still air. The scent lingers, sweet and warm, a final caress before the night deepens once more. You sit back, the weight of years and quiet work resting gently on your shoulders. Though forgotten by the world, you are not alone. The light you have made, shaped in the stillness with patient hands, continues to burn in homes and hearts you will never know, in moments of peace and comfort held close like a secret song. And so, in the gentle fading of flame, you find a kind of immortality, a lasting warmth beneath the quiet shadows, a soft glow that carries the story of a life lived simply, tenderly, with love. The last glow is never truly gone. It lives in the flicker of a candle, in the dark, in the scent of beeswax, on a cool evening breeze, in the silent echo of hands shaping light, long after the maker is forgotten. And in that enduring light, you rest quiet, unremembered, but forever glowing.